If you've been feeling stretched, overlooked, broken, or misunderstood, don't panic. I rejoice. Because pressure always precedes purpose, and heaven never wastes pain. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. This is divine preparation, because God is getting ready to do something great through you. You weren't made to blend in. You were born to stand out. You weren't designed just to survive. You were destined to lead, to build, to break barriers. But before God elevates you publicly, He prepares you privately. If you're going through unusual seasons, here are 7 powerful signs God is preparing you for greatness as a woman. You feel alone. Friends aren't calling like they used to. People you once confided in are now distant. The places that used to bring you comfort suddenly feel foreign. And while everything around you is quiet, your soul is loud with questions. God, where is everyone? But what feels like abandonment is actually alignment. Because when God begins to move you into your purpose, He often starts by removing you from the crowd. He's not punishing you. He's preparing you. Right? Great gratitude. He's preparing you. It's forged in applause. It's forged in obscurity. Isolation is not the enemy, it's the incubator. In the Bible, every great woman or man who was called for a divine purpose went through a season of solitude. Before Esther was crowned queen, she was hidden in preparation. Before Mary gave birth to purpose itself. Jesus, she was tucked away, misunderstood, and marinating in silence. And before Ruth walked into her future with Boaz, she had to walk through fields alone. Why? Because God does His best work in hidden places. He doesn't just want to use you, He wants to form you. And formation requires separation. In isolation, God detoxes your heart from the need for external validation. He strips away the crutches, the applause, the noise, and introduces you to His voice. It's in isolation that your identity is strengthened, not defined by who's around you, but by who is within you. That's where self-worth is born, not in popularity, but in presence. The presence of a God who knows exactly who you are, even when others forget your name. It's in these silent seasons where God teaches you to depend not on likes, comments, or confirmation, but on His word alone. He's building your roots deeper so your calling can rise higher. Don't curse the cave, celebrate it. The cave is where vision is born. It's where the woman of God learns how to fight battles not with her fists, but with her faith. It's where tears turn into oil, an anointing that the world didn't see coming. That's what God is doing in you right now. You're not being left behind. You're being launched forward. He's not ignoring you. He's investing in you. He's pouring into your spirit the things you'll need when the platform comes. Because public greatness without private depth is a setup for destruction. So hold your head high in the quiet seasons. Walk with confidence even when no one sees you. God sees you. Heaven is watching and preparation is in progress. This isolation is not a detour. It's divine strategy. You're not forgotten. You're not invisible. You're chosen. And sometimes the most chosen women walk through the most silent paths, not because they are less favored, but because they are more trusted. Trust God with your isolation. Because what feels like emptiness is actually sacred ground. Greatness begins here. When your plans start falling apart, it's often because God's plans are falling into place. The doors you thought would open slam shut. The people you thought were permanent walk away. This isn't chaos, it's construction. When God is preparing you for greatness, He removes what cannot go with you into the next dimension. You must understand that divine disruption is never a sign that your life is falling apart. It's a sign that it's falling into divine alignment. There are seasons where God will intentionally interrupt your rhythm, disturb your comfort, and strip away the familiar, not to harm you, but to humble you, to position you, to teach you how to walk by faith and not by sight. You may cry. You may grieve. You may wonder why the very things you prayed for seem to slip through your fingers. But what you call disappointment, God calls redirection. He is a master architect, and sometimes the structure of your current life must be shaken so the foundation of your future can be secured. Too often, we hold on to temporary assignments as if they are permanent fixtures. But God, in His love, will not let you build a life around things that are beneath your calling. That job that collapsed, that relationship that dissolved, that opportunity that vanished, it's not because you're being punished. It's because your destiny demanded a shift. You are a woman of purpose, and purpose is incompatible with stagnation. So when God disrupts your plans, it is because He is igniting your potential. He closes doors not to punish you, but to protect you. He removes people not to isolate you, but to elevate you. The very things you thought you needed were never designed to carry the weight of your calling. If you only knew what was on the other side of your obedience, you would stop questioning the disruption and start trusting the direction. God sees the end from the beginning. He knows who and what is essential for the assignment ahead. Some things you were depending on would have delayed you. Some people you were loyal to were not loyal to the vision God gave you. So in His mercy, He allows divine disruption to reroute your life onto the path of purpose. The pain you feel is real, but so is the promise that's coming. Don't fight the shift. Don't mourn what God removed. What feels like loss is often liberation. In this season, God is doing what eyes haven't seen and ears haven't heard. He's not rearranging your life for your comfort. He's rearranging it for your calling. Every no is clearing space for a bigger yes. Every closed door is pointing you towards something greater. The confusion is giving way to clarity. The detour is part of your destiny. You may not understand it now, but trust this. When God disrupts your plans, it's only because His plan is better, higher, and perfectly. You're not being rejected. You're being redirected for greatness. You feel it in moments no one else sees, when the room is full but you still feel alone, when everyone else is celebrating the ordinary but something in you aches for the extraordinary. It's not dissatisfaction, it's divine discontent. A holy stirring that wakes you up in the middle of the night and whispers, there's more. Not more stuff, not more noise, but more purpose. That restless tension pulling on your soul is not a sign of confusion. It's a confirmation. You are not crazy. You are not ungrateful. You are not lost. You are being awakened. Because when God calls a woman to greatness, He first disrupts her with a vision of what could be. And once you've tasted the idea of purpose, you can never again stomach mediocrity. This discontent doesn't show up to destroy your peace. It shows up to provoke your potential. God isn't trying to frustrate you. He's trying to free you. He's breaking you out of routines that keep you small. He's exposing environments that no longer serve your destiny. He's creating an inner tension so that you will no longer tolerate being comfortable in a life that doesn't align with His call. What others are fine with, you can't fake. What others settle for, you silently wrestle with. That's because you're not assigned to walk the same road. They're building safety, but you're being called to build legacy. When you begin to feel this holy discontent, it's a sign that your spirit is maturing faster than your surroundings. You start looking around and realizing this is good, but it's not God. You become sensitive to cycles, conversations that drain you, habits that slow you, patterns that delay you, and you begin to understand that peace isn't the absence of challenge, it's the presence of purpose. So you stop asking for easy days and start praying for alignment. You stop chasing applause and start chasing assignment, because once you recognize that your life carries weight, you can no longer live like it doesn't matter. This divine discontent is how God calls women out of hiding and into history. It's how He awakens Deborahs, Esthers, Hannahs, and Marys in every generation. Women who sense there is more to do, more to become, more to impact. And even though the world tries to convince you to shrink, to stay small, to be silent, something inside of you says, I can't ignore this. Because greatness never starts with a spotlight. It starts with a whisper, a burden, a restlessness that won't let you go. That's how God prepares you. Not with a crown, but with a call. Not with comfort, but with conviction. He doesn't show you the finish line. He gives you a glimpse of the mountain, and then He calls you to climb. That ache you feel is not the end, it's the beginning. The beginning of purpose, the beginning of transformation, the beginning of greatness. When God stretches you, it's not because He wants to see you fail. No, He is not a God who sets you up for failure. Rather, He stretches you because He sees something in you that is far beyond your current capacity to understand. He knows that in order to move you into the fullness of your destiny, you need to grow, expand, and evolve beyond what you can currently imagine. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. You're not being broken. You're being built. Think about how the muscles in your body grow. They grow through resistance, through stretching, through pressure. When you lift weights, your muscles are torn down, broken down, so they can grow back stronger. It's the same way in the Spirit. God allows you to experience seasons of testing, of stretching, not because He wants to hurt you, but because He is strengthening you. He's preparing you for the weight of the greatness that is about to be placed on your life. A woman of greatness must carry weight. She must be able to handle the responsibilities, the challenges, the pressures that come with the mantle of destiny. But before God can release the mantle, He must first increase your capacity to carry it. If He were to place the weight of your calling on you before you were ready, it would crush you. That's why the stretching is necessary. That's why the trials seem to be more intense than you ever imagined. They are God's way of building your spiritual endurance, your emotional strength, and your mental fortitude. When you find yourself being stretched, you must shift your mindset. No longer see your struggles as signs of defeat, but as signs of divine preparation. This is a season where God is enlarging you. He's giving you the strength to withstand more. He's giving you the courage to move through the obstacles that stand before you. He's increasing your faith, not just for the present, but for the future. He's teaching you how to trust in His timing, His provision, and His process. The truth is, when God stretches you, it often feels uncomfortable. It feels like you're being pulled in ways you didn't think were possible. But that discomfort is a sign that something powerful is happening on the inside of you. You're growing in ways you cannot see, but you will soon experience. You may feel like you're being pushed beyond your limits. But I'm here to tell you that God never calls you to something you cannot handle. He allows the stretching because He believes in your potential and He knows that you can rise to the occasion. Think about a bow and arrow. The bow must be pulled back, stretched, before it can launch the arrow into its purpose. In the same way, God is pulling you back, stretching you, so that when it's time, you will be launched into your purpose with force and precision. The stretching is a sign that you are getting ready for something bigger than you could ever imagine. It's not the end of the story, it's the beginning of the next chapter. So in this season, embrace the stretch. Don't resist it, don't run from it. Allow God to stretch you because He is increasing your capacity for greatness. He is building you into the woman you are destined to be. And when it's time for you to step into the fullness of your calling, you will be more than ready. You will carry that weight with grace, strength, and the confidence that comes from knowing that you've been prepared for this moment by a God who believes in you. When heaven marks you, hell notices. This is a fundamental truth for every woman who dares to step into her destiny. Opposition doesn't arise because of who you are in the present. It arises because of who you're becoming. When you begin to walk in purpose, aligned with the will of God, you become a threat to the enemy's agenda. He sees not just where you are, but where you're headed. The enemy doesn't fight you for the position you currently hold. He fights you for the position you're about to take. He understands the power of a woman who knows her worth, who walks in wisdom, and who operates fully in God's will. When you stand in your true identity, the enemy feels the shift, and he will use every tool in his arsenal to stop your rise. But let me tell you something. Resistance is often the greatest evidence of your rising. The very opposition that you're facing is proof that you're on the right path. God doesn't waste attacks. Every trial, every lie, every obstacle, and every setback is a setup for a divine breakthrough. The enemy wants to get in your head to make you doubt your calling, to make you question your purpose. But those attacks are only sharpening your strength, building your resilience, and confirming the purpose God has placed on your life. When the enemy begins to oppose you, it's not a sign that you're losing. It's a sign that you're advancing. It's a confirmation that you're moving towards something significant. You see, opposition arises when there's a shift in the atmosphere. When God is about to elevate you, the enemy will try to keep you down, to bind you, to convince you that your journey is too difficult, too painful, or too impossible. But you must remember this truth. Your purpose is always greater than the enemy's opposition. In fact, resistance refines you. It purges you of distractions, wrong thinking, and unnecessary attachments. Every challenge you face is a training ground for your victory. It strengthens your character, sharpens your faith, and pushes you into a deeper relationship with God. The greater the resistance, the greater the impact of your destiny. God is using every force of opposition to mold you into a woman of strength, a woman of faith, and a woman of influence. The more the enemy resists, the more God is positioning you for something extraordinary. It's important to remember that opposition doesn't come to break you, it comes to prepare you. It's preparing you for the weight of the glory that God is about to release in your life. A woman who has faced opposition and still stands firm in her faith is a woman who will change the world. A woman who has been refined in the fire of adversity is a woman who will carry influence, authority, and power. So when you feel the pressure, when you face opposition, instead of retreating or doubting your purpose, rise in faith. Use that resistance as fuel to propel you forward. Your destiny is too important, your calling too significant for you to shrink back. Every attack that comes against you is simply a sign that God is using you to fulfill a greater purpose. The enemy sees what you can't see yet, but God has already ordained it. He has equipped you and He has already given you the victory. So stand strong, keep moving forward, and remember, opposition is not your enemy. And it's your confirmation that you are on the path to greatness. Daughter of destiny, your journey may be hard, but it is holy. The fire is refining you. The storms are strengthening you. The silence is training you to hear God's voice above all others. You were born for such a time as this. God doesn't prepare average women. He prepares kingdom women. And He's preparing you for greatness.